name's Gordon for Kite Reviews, and today I've got this. It's the 77-inch Into the Breeze Wave Delta. A couple of different companies have different names for kites configured like this, but that's the one that Into the Breeze has picked. 77 inches is a really big kite, actually. It's about 6.5 feet, and as you can see, it's pretty healthy. And then it has these triple, very long tails at the end, which whip around in the breeze, and they look beautiful. This is a pretty affordable kite, too. Into the Breeze is one of the more budget-friendly, I feel like, brands, and it does show a little bit. This is a great kite. It does function well. It's balanced well, it's easy to assemble and disassemble, great presence in the sky. It's made, shall we say, well enough. However, you do pay for that price point in a few different places, and we'll talk about it. The price point, sorry, for this 77-inch model is $43, which is really quite affordable. They also make a 55-inch one, which is a little bit smaller, obviously, and it's a little bit cheaper too, but I would recommend going for the big one. That's my opinion. Anyway, let's talk about it a little bit here. So, it is a large Delta. There is no keel. It just has a bridle like this. They probably didn't need a keel because of how stable it is. The Wave Delta platform is actually really cool. It creates, this has great surface area, so it creates good lift in light wind. And then in high wind, because of those tails, that really tends to trim out the kite and let it fly in high wind well as well. So it does have a fair amount of pull. It is a 6.5-foot Delta after all. So it's going to pull in high wind pretty hard, but it is a fairly robust flyer in terms of stability and wind conditions. Another feature that I think is kind of interesting is, so it has this cross piece. There's no bracket here. Obviously at this price point we're not going to see any brackets or anything like that. But these side spars, they, in typical Delta fashion, they don't go all the way to the nose. But the envelope that they run inside does go all the way to the nose. So we can push that spar up all the way to the tip, and then this whole thing collapses even without you taking out the spine. You can remove the spine, but you don't have to pack it up. And then to fly it, all you gotta do is, push this down a few inches. And there's a few different ways to do it here, so that they get down into the flying position, which is down about there. So that's the end. But they've given you this, and it just makes packing it up a little bit easier. Let's talk about a couple other things about the price point here. The packaging is adequate, I would say. There's nothing inherently low quality, I think, about the packaging. Other than that, I think Velcro as the closure up here is maybe not the greatest idea to combine with this kite. I think buttons or some sort of snaps would have been much better, because what happens is, while you're flying all day, these tails are whipping around, right? I mean, you guys can see the video. These tails are really moving, and they do get frayed. This has been closed off. They did fold them over and stitch it, but no matter what, I think, at the end of that tail on a windy day, you're seeing some really crazy, tip speeds. And so it just naturally kind of does fray. And then when you're folding up and putting this kite away, there's kind of no way to not get some of that fraying stuck in the Velcro on the package. And that just causes some extra wear that is just kind of unnecessary. So I'm not a huge fan of the packaging. In order to be called ready to fly, they also include this, which is pretty useless in my opinion. So it is technically ready to fly at this really attractive price point, $43 for a 6.5-foot Delta. But yeah, I wouldn't want to fly it in that configuration with only this stuff. I would want to have other reels, rings, etc. Stuff like that. They do come in some really great colors besides white. White is actually secretly a really cool color for kites. But they also come in black and blue and red and things like that. So whatever color you kind of want as your base color, you could fit this into your system. Which is a pretty cool thing too. I actually kind of like these. This is kind of like a blank canvas in a lot of ways, right? You can augment it in all sorts of different ways, and that's pretty exciting to me. So yeah, I think it's an affordable option. I think it isn't. Basically, what I can tell you is I don't recommend this kite as like a first kite or as a first kite for anybody else who's getting into kiting, but I think it has a place, and that place is for those of us who have a whole kite collection and are maybe starting to look for some more sophisticated things to do with kites, and you need base kites for that, right? So if you wanted to do stackers, if you wanted to do like a rainbow set of stackers or something like that with these things, it'd be very cool. And a little bit more affordable than, say, buying all four colors of Z7, right? That's like almost $400 worth of kites. For this, it would be like half price. And these kites have integrated tails and stuff like that. So when you start looking at it that way, I think these kites start to make a lot more sense. So if you're looking for, just like a travel kite or something fun for the beach, it's maybe not your first go-to. But if you're maybe, looking for some statement pieces, or you're really looking to match a color scheme for a high school maybe, or something like that, or somebody's graduation, or something like that, you could just go out and buy one, because they're pretty affordable. And then you could integrate that with the rest of your setup, and you'd be happy as can be. So yeah, I think it's a cool kite. It has great presence. The white is secretly a really cool color as well, and but one must keep in mind that it is built to a price. This is certainly not a Prism quality. It's probably not even in the same quality brackets that I would put HQ and Premier either. Which is not to say that it's a badly made kite or something like that. It flies well, it has great stability in low and high wind, and it just works out really nicely. However, you're skimping on a few different places when you buy this kite. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, I think that sums up my review for this kite. My name is Gordon for Kite Reviews. Thanks for watching.